We got an incident, big incident, turn 4. Danica Patrick has made contact with the wall. Two cars involved. One of them is certainly the target Chip Ganassi car, Danica Patrick.
All right, take your time, you're fine. Car's not burning, you're fine. Safety truck's there, safety truck's right with you. Let those guys help you.
See how fast these safety trucks get there, Todd? We talked about that in AJ Force.
Hey, nice job either way.
The good news is Danica is up. She is moving. The driver for Ray Hall Letterman drove a fantastic race. But Scott, you're a genius. You called it. You said this is too close at too high of speeds. This is an accident waiting to happen. She does not want to get in the safety car. She wants to make the walk back.
Walk back, but certainly has to go into the hospital. Be checked out right there. A lot of disappointment.
That is a very disappointed Jacques Lazier.
Just lives down the road. He's been speaking with the team. Maybe an opportunity for him there next year, and so dedicated that he wants to do this so bad. He said, you know something, if I have the opportunity to drive for this team next year, I will move to Indianapolis.
Jacques Lazier, truly one of the great guys. Here it is one more time. Danica on the high side. Oh, we saw that earlier, Scott.
Cars just start to slide when you start to come off that last portion of the turn. Looks like maybe Jacques Lazier's car start to walk up, and we're only talking maybe 6 inches, Todd.
Thanks, Vince. Well, the last yellow we saw come out was because of Jacques Lazier and Danica Patrick coming together. Danica is still inside getting her elbow iced. She took quite an impact there, but we do have Jacques Lazier. Jacques, we're going to show you the replay here. We want to get your perspective. We've heard everybody else's opinion on the matter.
Okay. Well, I mean, I'm sitting down right by the white line down there, and it still doesn't look like I'm moving up any. Very little bit, and I just basically had nowhere to go. I mean, at this point in the race, you're obviously, the tires are getting old, everything's getting old, you're running as hard as you can, and unfortunately happened to me one time previous too. We went into the corner and she ran me right down to the white line and pushed off and almost hit her one other time. It's just, you know, Brian always says you have to give each other room out there, and that's just a situation that I guess stubborn with a couple laps left that she didn't want to give me any room and pinch me down, and there's the result.
Well, it was a great run for you today until the moment. Congratulations, your 50th IndyCar race today.
It's not the way I wanted to end it, and obviously for Target Chip Ganassi Racing and Breast Awareness Month, you know, Breast Cancer Awareness Month, I wanted to finish where we were running. We're running in the top 10, a strong run, just everything I wanted, but unfortunately it ended the wrong way.
Thanks, Jacques. Rest up, and we'll see you hopefully back next season. Well, we just heard Jacques Lazier's side of the story. Now we're going to hear from Danica Patrick. She has been released. She has some ice on her elbow, a little bit sore. But Danica, we're going to show the replay right now, and you tell us what you saw and felt.
Okay, here we go.
What are you seeing here? What are you thinking in your car right now? Are you holding your line, or?
It looks like I'm driving. He's driving. We're all cruising around the corner fine. And we have a barred screen.
And we lost our signal. The rain is kind of coming and going out here. What did you see from inside the cockpit?
I mean, I saw nothing. All I know is that I was on the radio all day about him. He was all over the track, and I can understand if he's trying to find clean air when someone's right in front of him. But he would be out the track by himself and all over the place, cutting the air from me, which is basically like cutting me off. And I was complaining all day on the radio about him. And it's no wonder he jumps around ride to ride. I mean, he just, you know, like, it's so frustrating. I mean, you go out there and you just want to race clean, and this guy is just all over the place. So, needless to say, I'm pretty frustrated. I didn't want to end the year like this, but you know, I just hope it was a good show for all the fans and for our sponsors. Argent had an enormous amount of people here, and Honda and Pioneer are also based here. So, you know, hopefully it was a good race for them to watch. It's too bad we couldn't take it home. I think that, you know, when you can see the leaders right in front of you, you always feel like you have a chance. I was glad there was a yellow at the end, and it's an unfortunate ending.
Well, we're glad that you're okay. And girlfriend, you could take off your rookie stripes. You are now a veteran.
Sometimes that's okay to use, though.
It's a handicap. We're glad that she's okay. Danica Patrick wraps up her first year in the IndyCar Series. Vince?
Uh-oh, and we're hearing that Danica Patrick has slowed on the racetrack. Will it bring out a caution? If it does, this race would pretty much be over.
They just said get her to the bottom of the racetrack so they won't bring out a caution. So she's trying to pull down all she possibly can, if you just heard. Ooh, she's cussing. What is wrong? Danica Patrick's very upset. Very upset. I've never seen her this upset.
She's listed unofficially in 17th position. And while she is frustrated and furious. That man who was frustrated and furious last week is just ecstatic.
You know what, Marty? She really, really wants to do the best job she possibly can.
Here she is on the onboard just when she came to a stop.
I've never seen her that frustrated. She's a great competitor, one of the best women drivers I've ever seen. But boy, that looks like Elio last week. That much frustration, Scott.
It's amazing because, Rusty, you've lived it before. When you're so competitive, you want to get out there and you want to do well.
Hey
a
guys,
lot of
we're
pressure
solving
on
the
this
points
young
now.
lady, so she is certainly going to be winning some races here very soon.
Well, there she is with Brent Maurer. He's public relations for the team. And, yeah, he probably should take it from her before she wants to heave it somewhere.
Yeah, a PR guy around your driver, that's who you need. Please think, please calm down. Let's get back to Elio Castroneves. What about that? You know, he wins the race. You know, he knows he's going to Sears Point, a place that's so good for him, a road course. He's going to be feeling pretty good now, Scott.
Well, I think the most important thing when he says, I can win it, he wants to win the championship. That is his goal. Remember, Penske has never won the IRL championship, and that is their goal this year after winning the Indianapolis 500 so many times.
And now they're waiting for Elio to get back into the car so they can get him around to
Don't break her foot. She's got a couple more races there.
just drop kick one of the markers.
Well, we got to find out what's going on here. Why is she so frustrated?
Well, you remember at the very beginning of the race, she said she wanted to go out and win one for the team, but I mean, this late in the race, she wasn't a factor to win anyway.
She doesn't have to prove anything to anybody. She's a great driver. I mean, she's just very frustrated. I feel for her right now.
She was 8th at the time when she had fallen out.
Thanks, Jamie. Danica, you were very frustrated. Why?
Because I was like, was it 2 laps from the end I went out? The guys didn't have any telemetry all day, so they were guessing on the fuel probably, and you know that was probably what happened. That's their best guess, is we just ran out of fuel. It's just such a hard race. We were not very fast, and I don't know what the deal was, but we were just slow. I mean, we just had, every time I shifted to 6th gear, it went bong. Unless I was in a draft, it was a brutal day. It was a brutal day, and so I wish I would have brought the car home in 7th where it should have been, but things happen.
Trouble with Tony Kanaan and Danica Patrick. They have come together, and that is a lengthy and costly situation for your pole sitter. Guys?
We got some commotion going on.
Well, we're watching this, and Danica also hung up in this. And how does something like this happen between teammates?
Well, it shouldn't be between teammates because just miscommunication. What you try to do is sometimes stagger your teammates coming in, especially if your pit boxes are side to each, as this situation is. But right now it looked like Tony Kanaan was taking his steering wheel off.
Let's check in again with Jack.
Quick stop for Scott Dixon in the target energizer special. He pulls back out. Nominal stop, fellas, which means 22 gallons of ethanol and a change of Firestone tires. No chassis adjustments.
Well, there is suspension broken on the left front on Tony Kanaan's car, and what a terrible, terrible.
Okay, now let's look at this. If you're going to see these guys working on the left front side over here, what they're looking for right now is that collision has turned around and broken the tie rod. And so you're going to see these guys turn around, remove the tie rod. They have new tie rods in the pit box. They'll turn around and replace this as quick as possible. No doubt that he's going to end up losing laps, but just a collision between the two teammate cars. You can see the broken piece was in the hand of the mechanic at that point in time.
All right, let's go back and take another look at this because we've got a different angle, another angle on it, and here was Danica's stop first.
Now she's going to be finished. Now her crew member on the right front is waving her out without looking down pit lane. That's just a miscommunication, guys, because what ends up happening in that situation is he wants to get her out, obviously, as quickly as possible, but he has to watch to see who's coming along down pit road and coming into the pit box, especially the pit box that's directly in front, which is their teammate.
And Brienne Pettigo has caught up with Danica.
That's right, guys. I've got Danica down here. Okay, starting off on a positive note, you finished 7th. That's the best finish so far this season. That's got to feel good, building momentum going into Indy.
I said as we came in, I said, you know, good job, guys, good stops today, but unfortunately, that was our best result of the year. I mean, 7th's not good. It's not good at all, but you know, we did all right today. We obviously had some problems in the pits, and our car was tough to drive in the middle of the race, but you know, managed to get 7th, and I guess I don't know how far I was down, 10th, 15th, who knows, but we came back.
Now, okay, walk me through that pit stop. What happened from your point of view?
I might actually be the worst person to ask, because sitting in the car, you listen and you look for when to go. You know, Kim in pit lane here, he's on my radio. He's saying when to go. And Poppy on my right front, my mechanic, my crew chief, he tells me exactly when to go too. So I'm listening to them. They said go. Obviously, TK was there, and I feel bad because, Tony had a really fast car for sure, but it lost both of us a chance to win the race for AGR, and that's never what we want. And I know that, Mike's disappointed and everybody's disappointed, because not only did it happen in pit lane, and that's horrible, but it happened within the team. And, they're normally really, really good about it and pitting people on different laps, but unfortunately that one really collided.
Now, we've talked a bit about the guys on your team and the kind of camaraderie between all four of you. How will you refocus and get that sense of team back before Indy?
We're always a team. There's no problem there. We're all, I haven't seen Tony yet, but, I'm going to tell him I really feel bad. I know you had a good car. I was just going when I was supposed to, when I was told to go, and I'm sorry that it happened. But, there's nothing much I could have done, if I waited, until the whole pit lane was cleared out to go, then that's not realistic. So, I was just doing what I was told. But we're a team. Things happen, and I'm sure there'll be some talks that go on over the next week just as to how that did happen to fix it. But there's no love lost, and we'll get it back.
Well, good luck to you at Indy. We'll definitely be keeping our eye on you there.
Thanks.
And what all this traffic has done is it's tightened up the top six, and there is Danica. Oh, she's in trouble. Hang on to it, man. The yellow comes out. She's actually on the pit lane. Exit lane.
Okay, now let's think about this, okay? That's her teammate, Tony Kanaan, going around the outside. We just showed you what happened before. It was amazing, just the touch of the wheels.
Let's take another look at it. I thought it might, there she is following Franchitti.
Underneath Franchitti. May have caught that out of my eye. Wrong. No, it's the 10 car.
See, she gets around Dario because Weldon becomes the pick, and then here's what happened going down into the turn.
You're right, it's Weldon. He just goes diving down towards the inside, down towards the apex, and what a great save by Danica at 155 or 60 miles an hour.
Well, fellas, let's update you on Danica Patrick. She does have a steering problem as a result of that spin. Now, Tony Kanaan had to come in while the pits were closed to take some fuel. He will have to come back in to take on the tires. You're allowed to do that when the pits are closed and you're running close on fuel. They were supposed to pit that lap.
So a break for everyone, and especially that young lady right there, Danica Patrick. Pits are open and everybody is coming in on the lead lap. Led by Elio Castroneves. Your camera is on Danica, and there you can see everybody. Jack, let's send it back to you.
Let's watch and see. Danica Patrick changing the 4 tires, 22 gallons of ethanol. Doesn't look, oh yeah, now all of a sudden Dave tries to make an adjustment. The front wishbone is bent on that car, but Danica, in a gaming mood, said, look, I'll be able to drive it that way. Let's not lose any more time on pit road.
Danica Patrick having to come back in for that wishbone. Let's go to Jackaroo for an update.
Well, fellas, this is the upper steering arm on the right side that was removed from Danica Patrick's car. You can see where it's a bit dented. They had hoped that they would at least have enough tow that they would be able to let her soldier on this way. The car, according to Danica, though, is steering so heavy that they're going to have to try and in the next pit stop make some additional adjustments. She's going to have some upper body strength for the next segment, fellas.
I can't turn down, so you all have to go in your lane, and that's what I did, and he just came down.
Obviously, you just got to be very careful. You don't want to get in the marbles, and she wasn't quite there, so.
Going through one?
So, no, it's just one of those things. It's unfortunate.
She went down, and she thought she was right, and she went down to Weldon and confronted him. She didn't send her PR man down there and moan in the press. She did what a man would do in a sprint car race. She went down and faced him up head on, and I like that. Whose fault it was, I'm not sure. It might just been one of them racing things.
Would there have been a fight?
Well, I certainly would have pushed him back. I mean, I'm not the biggest of guys, but I'm not going to let anybody push me around like that.
Did you consider, even for a moment after she pushed you, popping her one time?
No, because obviously you have to respect the fact that she's female. But you know what I do think is disappointing from Danica is the fact that she would do something like that, because you know she's
that's taking advantage of her gender. She really shouldn't do that. She does need to act in a more professional manner and stop acting, quite frankly, like a spoilt brat.
Before your next race, do you think that Danica and you will have a little chat?
If she wants to sit down and talk to me, I'll be very encouraged to listen. But after her antics at Milwaukee, she would definitely need to do the talking first.
Well, since that appearance with Tony Kornheiser, Dan Weldon, you and Danica were called to the principal's office.
What a good jab now.
What did Principal Brian Barnhart tell you?
He said, you know, you got to come around with the right before using the left because I'm a right-hander. But no, it was a good conversation. Danica, you know, apologized for putting me in a somewhat awkward position, and after seeing the replay, I think she realized that it was much more of a racing accident. There's always going to be different interpretations to, you know, certain incidents, but I think what we were both, you know, it's always unfortunate when something like that happens, and, you know, it turned out that she got the worst of it. But
well, let me ask you this. Do you think it sunk in?
Did what sink in? The fact that...
The talk.
Yeah, you know, absolutely. I mean, the biggest thing is we're both professionals, and you don't want to carry anything over onto the racetrack, particularly one like this, and particularly one where Eddie Gossage is trying to create the biggest rivalry known to man. But, you know, at the end of the day, we just got to go out and, you know, try and win this race.
Don't forget, keep your left up.
Okay.
All right. Vince?
You flinch a bit.
Unfortunately, one thing that was overshadowed by the incident was a very strong run by Danica Patrick at Milwaukee, marched all the way from 17th up to 5th. Pro or con, what did you learn from the incident?
I thought it was a really good race for me overall. Like you said, just learning how to really, really push through traffic and make stuff happen. And I know it kind of sounds silly, like I'm just kind of learning how to do that, but you have to really know the limits of the car to be able to push that hard. And I mean, I'm driving against really good guys out there. So it's taken some time to learn, but I really feel like I've made a lot of progress over the last couple of races.
How about what you learned from all the extracurricular? I mean, you can't buy that kind of press during the course of this week.
You know, I don't regret talking to him because I think that should be something you should be able to do. I mean, you know, you're here to watch sports, and you're here to watch what we do for a living on TV, and, you know, sometimes a lot of times emotions are a part of that. And, you know, if he would have just listened, it wouldn't have looked so bad, but he kept walking away, so it kind of fueled the fire. But ultimately, at the end of the day, I made my point there, and I think that the risk that you can run carrying on with that kind of an argument is that when it spills over to a track like Texas, where it's really, really fast, 3 wide the whole time, we have big accidents, and I wouldn't want anyone to get hurt. So it's all good between the two of us, as far as I know, anyway.
Yeah, well, we'll see, Marty, over the course of the next 220-plus laps.
All right, thanks, Vince. The reference to Eddie Gossage, of course, he's the head man here at Texas Motor Speedway, and he's billed this as the Rumble at the Speedway. You see both cars. Danica's going to start 6th, Dan 10th. You remember that Dan made reference to her need to win? Well, we decided to give the Ethanol Edge a look at their first 36 career starts. Obviously, Dan's had more than that, but in his first 36, he had 6 wins. Danica's still looking for her first. He had 20 top 5 finishes to her 4. She had 1 more pole than he did in 36 events, and he led 737 laps. We have 12 cars on the lead lap. The first 2 in your screen right there, Scott Dixon, Dario Franchitti running 1st and 2nd. The 3rd car in that shot right there, the number 20, Ed Carpenter, he's a lap down, followed by Dan Weldon. Marco Andretti and Danica Patrick, they are 4th and 5th. So Carpenter, the 1 lap vehicle that could be a little fly in the ointment, as we are back to green at Nashville. Marco's got a run on Dan Weldon down the backstretch. That is for position, so move Marco to 3rd. And Danica's closing, as is Scott Sharp.
Now Weldon's moving around, trying to find a line, not giving much opportunity to Danica Patrick. Watch her wheel right now. She's seesawing at it as the car in front takes away the air over her wings.
Now remember, Dan moved on Danica back at Milwaukee, and they ended up having a conversation at the end of that deal. All of a sudden, now things start to settle down a little bit. Now, we should point out, between our race leaders, Scott Dixon, you heard Jack talking about, there are 4 cars between Dixon and 2nd place, Dario Franchitti. Another lap vehicle back to 3rd place, Danica Patrick. Now, it'd be nice if
all those people get out of the way, but it's probably not going to happen.
Well, it's not going to happen, and in this series we don't remove the lap cars in between, although I'm starting to think that I like the system they have in some other series. Let them get out there and do a fight out. Vince?
Well, Dario Franchitti was told that Anthony Foyt will move over and let him by, but the 3 drivers in front of Foyt are all racing for position. Don't expect any help from those 3. That will bode well, guys, for Scott Dixon.
Yeah, and this is one where I think I agree with you, Scott. NASCAR's rule, lead cars inside 10 laps, single file, they're all to the front. So we're going to be going green flag this time by.
You're ready. He's going. Green flag.
And you heard it. Here we go. We'll have 5 laps to go this time by.
And probably the most interesting race in the track right now that 2 drivers are close to each other would be Danica Patrick and Scott Sharp, and also Hornish. And right now it looks like those guys up in the top part of our stream might have got together, because I saw Scott Sharp lose a lot of positions.
Yeah, he got up in the gray and he had to get out of it. Here comes Danica, tries to go under Carpenter. He slams the door shut. She has to back out. Here comes Hornish underneath her. Here comes Marco on the high side. This is all for position. Danica still has the preferred low line, and Carpenter still stays in front of all of them. 4 laps to go.
Marty, I think what you said, and I agree with you. Boy, it'd be nice if those lap cars were out of the way and you just had that whole train of 6 or 7 cars running towards the green flag.
Right now it is
green flag. It's green start, but checker flag.
And Scott Dixon, Dario Franchitti by 1.5 seconds. Then it's another 2.9 seconds back to 3rd. And now it sort of has settled down again. Let's check in with Brienne.
Well, Marty, you mentioned it matches her best finish ever in 3rd position, but you're not happy, Danica. Tell us why.
Well, wow, that's a lot of fireworks. I'm frustrated because when lap traffic is the thing that dictates where you're at on the track, and if you can get by, that's kind of senseless, I mean, Ed Carpenter was a lap down, then he was 2 laps and probably 3 laps, and then there's 5 to go, and he's not going to cooperate. It's like, what's the point? What are you racing for? You're laps down, and we're racing for 2nd and 3rd, and I didn't have a chance at Dario unless I would be behind him. So yeah, that's the frustrating part, and it wasn't like it just happened at the end. It happened earlier on too, when it was me and Marco and Weldon. So just not real smart on his part. If you're slow, just get out of it and have a nice day.
Well, glad to have another good finish, but she's still a little frustrated, guys.
Well, and I think it goes back to what we were talking about. Maybe IndyCar will look at it, and maybe on these last 10 lap shootouts, they'll take a look at getting rid of some of that lap traffic. That certainly does hinder what would have been a very interesting shootout had all those cars that were on the lead lap, all 8, had been nose to tail. Oh, and Danica has spun it coming out of the pits.
Keep it going.
And the yellow is out. If she can keep the car fired.
Yellow.
No, she can't. So Danica had a great shot there, but our 3rd yellow now comes out. Look at the family. That's her sister to the right.
Unfortunately, because in the situation, if you were just pitting, you leave the pit lane as you look at her husband, Paul Hossenthal. What you're trying to do, remember, trying to make up time on the pit exit. With cold tires, full fuel, the car is really a handful.
So we are under our 3rd caution, and we talked about this treacherous pit lane entrance and exit. Vince, you've got more?
Well, I just want to make the point, those were not cold tires. She took on just fuel. They did not change the rubber when she came down here on that stop, so maybe they cool off a bit, Scott, but they did not put on fresh tires. It was fuel only for Danica. And I know that we're going to look back at the Dario Franchitti incident, and Danica actually is the car that almost collided with Dario that forced him to go out into the grass. So it's certainly been an eventful last couple of minutes for Danica Patrick.
All right. Here is Danica coming out of pit lane, and you talked about it earlier.
Well, and with warm tires on there, again, what you're trying to do is make up some time coming out of pit lane. They leave the warm tires on because we've only got less than 20 laps left on the event. There you go. Oh.
And she just spun it and hit the wall. How did this happen?
There's her father, TJ, right there in the middle of the screen.
I don't know what happened there either. We're done. You okay?
That's her sister Brooke on the right. Husband Paul Hospenthal in the middle.
Well, wait for the safety crews.
And this day is over. So what looked promising has turned into a disaster.
Well, in the first one, she was right, because warm tires, you know, the team leaves those on so you can go out there and leave the pit lane faster than you would on cold. And in that situation, the car just came around on her. But Vince Welsh, you have more on Danica now?
Well, you see, as baffled as she looks, and the crew has the same look on their face. They were over the wall waiting on her to come back into the pits because she had flat spotted the tires on the way out on the initial spin. So they were going to have to put 4 tires back on the car. They were waiting over the wall, waiting on her to come in. And they saw on the big screen here the contact that she made. They were all as baffled as she seemed to be on the radio. So definitely not finishing up the way Danica or TJ Patrick was expecting here at Kentucky.
All right, well, let's see what we have on tape. Let's go back and, well, actually, this is just the aftermath. Boy, this one's got me stymied.
It really does. We'll have to see if we get some more information on that. But she was 7th in points, and she's always talked about trying to make sure that she can continue in the points battle. And here we are with Danica on the first spin. There again, this is when she was trying to leave after the first pit stop, but just getting fuel. And then here's the second one that we're going to look at now. She's on track. Let's listen. Oh, she got hit or something broke, guys.
Something broke.
And she almost hit the truck.
Safety car.
I have no idea what happened. Something was on the track and it distracted me.
Yeah, it sounds like she did run something over.
I wonder if we could do that one more time, guys.
Yeah, I'd love to.
And then we'll sit back and just listen with everybody. And we heard a thump, and we'll look ahead and see if we can see anything on the track. All right, before we do that, let's check in with Vince Welch.
Kim Green, we were just listening to the onboard, and it sounded as though something may have broken on the car. Did you get any indication before that contact?
I mean, hindsight's probably 20/20. I suspect we flat spotted a tire pretty good. You know, to be honest, I probably didn't do it. We were still showing tire pressure on all our tire pressure sensors. I probably didn't do a good job of coaching her to go slowly around until the pits opened, and so we probably popped a right rear tire, I would guess. That's the only indication we have. We don't know for sure. We didn't have a good day in the pits either. We made some mistakes there. So had a pretty fast race car, so not a good finish. And Danica did a much better job than where we ended up, and we're sorry. We probably put her in the fence, not Danica.
There you have it, Kim Green. Tough luck. Tough finding some good luck for this 7 car.
Now, last year, the pit window, we saw cars go as far as 50 laps. As we get ready, pit lane is not seeing any activity now as we're green here at Kansas. All right, well, let's reset the top 4 for you because it's Dixon, Schechter, he moved up from 4th. Dan Weldon is 3rd. Danica Patrick is 4th. But we caught Danica on the radio about maybe the tactics that Thomas used to get there.
I think that that was probably some unnecessary closeness on the front straight with Schechter. He put me below the white line. I'd let an official know right away on this first start because Schechter's going to drive like this, like he's proving something all day.
All right, let's go back and show you the replay. Now, she's talking about forcing her down below the white line.
The second line of cars, the black and yellow car on the top side, Thomas Schechter, he gets a start through the tri-oval. Now, he sees that he's in front of her. Does he think that he's actually got all the way past her? Well, the way the rules are written, she started 3rd. She's supposed to go across the start-finish line, which she's coming up to right now, with her car leading, but Schechter beats her to the stripe, puts her down off the white line just a little bit, and you know something, smart move by her because no time to go out fighting at this point in line on lap 1.
But give a tip of the hat to the 33 car just a few spots back, E.J. Viso. He's running in the 8th position, started 17th. He's picked up 9 big ones. There he is. He's closing on Team Penske. And remember, Vince Welch, this is one of the guys that has very, very few laps on an oval.
In fact, it's just his 2nd oval race ever. He made his oval debut earlier this season at Miami. Homestead, remember, he had a pretty good run going there until a late crash sent him to a 17th place finish. Not indicative of the quality of run that he had there at Homestead. He's fighting a little bit of a handling issue right now, but his team is reminding him to use the weight jackers. But so far, they're very pleased with the way E.J. Viso has taken this car toward the front.
You had some tight racing with Thomas Schechter and also with EJ Viso at earlier stages of the race. Is it drivers getting a little stingy out there, or is it just the kind of racing you expect here in a mile and a half?
Well, you know, I always expect Schechter to drive like that. You know, that Viso, I don't know who he is even. So, you know, he's new. He's trying to, you know, he's got a pretty fast car. So, you know, he's learning the ropes of this oval racing. But, you know, he almost put me in the wall at one point. I'm like, look, dude, you're new. You better be nice, because we all know how to handle this a lot better than you do at this point. So that's all right. You know, you've got some newcomers, and they're going to be trying to push it, and they're not going to know how. You know, they're not going to know what they can and can't do. So, you know, there's a lot of etiquette in oval racing that, you know, is to be learned, and that takes a little bit of time. So, yeah, there was some close stuff out there, but didn't end up racing close at the end.
It is what it is. Thank you, Danica. Marty?
Here is out. Dixon is out. As is Elio Castroneves, who almost gets collected. Oh, another close call with Danica.
And I believe Danica has damage. I think it's that.
Yes, Ryan Briscoe is down at the end of pit road, and he has been sandwiched up against the pit wall, guys.
Well, she broke her left rear suspension, guys, when she had the contact with Briscoe.
Husband Paul Hospenthal looking on. And for the first time in 4 tries here at Indianapolis, Danica Patrick will not finish the race. Now the crew is pushing back Ryan Briscoe's number 6 as he made the contact coming out, as Danica was as far over as she possibly could, but there's just not a lot of space down there.
She had no place to go.
Well, the back end of the car, Briscoe's just slid out from putting the power down. The tires were spinning, and it just kicked out enough just to catch her left rear suspension.
But that is so difficult for the mechanics or whoever is sending out the car. You can't sit there and wait for everybody. You got to get them out.
All right, we've got a replay on this. Take another look at it. And it looks like they're checking Briscoe's car back in the pit.
Wing here. Normal guys on the front wing.
And they are pushing Danica's car. I thought the whole rear got snapped. Now here it is.
Just comes over. That left rear suspension has been broken.
Doesn't look good, guys. The car's not balanced right. The right front bench or something. Try and start it.
That might not be that bad. It might be drivable.
Well, you just heard on the radio.
No, if you can drive it like that?
Yeah, no.
Here, I give you credit. You're more of a hero than I thought you were.
I thought it snapped the first time I saw it. Now take a look from Danica's onboard. Oh, what a view this is going to be.
She's doing everything perfect. She's in what they call the high-speed lane.
Yep.
A-arm is broken on the suspension. Your day is finished.
You saw it on side-by-side. Danica Patrick got out of the car, and to say the least, I think she wanted to have a conversation with Ryan Briscoe.
And she has the right to. Let her, maybe not right now, but if that was a guy walking down, there wouldn't be that big of a deal, would it?
Oh, the ovation that the crowd was giving her was, we could hear it all the way in here, despite the fact we have earplugs.
And I think we actually heard Mr. Penske say, lower your visor to Briscoe. Was that true?
Yes, and take a look at this. This is how it all started. And here's where the crescendo of the crowd started. They thought she was just going to salute, and then when they realized she was going down pit lane to get a piece of Mr. Briscoe, give her a thought or two, and look at the PR person trying to catch up, saying, whoa, my driver is going the wrong way.
But you know something? This is why she is successful, because she is determined. And there's Charles Byrne, the head of security for the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, knows what's going on, trying to talk a little common sense into her. He'll wait a little while, and then she'll be escorted over the wall.
Then he said, yes, now that's far enough. Let's cross over here.
And then there's the IndyCar official also helping to block.
That was like the defensive line right there. You weren't going to go past him.
I have nothing wrong with that. I don't think that's an issue at all.
She is a firebrand. I mean,
that's what she's like.
That's why she's successful.
That's right.
Danica, we saw what happened in the pits. From your perspective, tell us what happened.
Well, you know, I just was going down pit lane, and as people pull out of their pit boxes, you're on the outside lane, and they have to wait until they can blend in. And from what I know, it looked like it was pretty obvious what happened. And you know, what are you going to do? The guys worked so hard today, and you know, we worked hard in and out of the car all month, and you know, unfortunately, we just we didn't get to show for it in the end. But you know, congrats to Dixon. He was strong all month, and he deserves it.
You didn't get a chance to talk to Ryan on the track. You were pulled away. What do you want to tell him?
It's probably best I didn't get down there anyway, isn't it?
Thanks.
So Danica Patrick with the fire that burns inside her, and she doesn't pull any punches. Remember last year she went toe-to-toe with Dan Weldon in Milwaukee. So now it's 36 laps out of the last 67 that these guys have run, as we're now green that they were under yellow. So can the top three go the distance? Look at the sandwich. Here we go again. Danica gets passed on both sides.
Oh, almost reminiscent of last year in one of his restarts where he had the big one.
It was Marco Andretti and the 9 of Scott Dixon. Here we go, 3 wide down the backstretch.
And right behind the podium is Scott Dixon, teammate to Dan Weldon, but he is on top in the points. You said on the radio, we eavesdropped, that having a little bit of a problem getting around Danica Patrick. Anybody else that you had a problem with today?
No, I think everybody else was racing pretty fair, to be honest. I don't know if it was just me that had a problem with her, but hey, that's kind of racing. You know, you got to make it tough to pass, but it just seemed to be a bit frustrating when people don't hold their line. But it was a good day for commit. You know, a good points day. We didn't really have the car to win. We were back in, I think, in probably 8th at worst at some point, but the commit guys in pit lane did such a fantastic job to pull me through, and it worked out a strategy race. But still, Dan came through, and the luck that he's had lately, man, it's a big birthday for him today, the big 3-0, and so happy for him to see him win here.
If you've been a fan of the series, you know that after last week's race in Iowa, the man in that cockpit right there, Scott Dixon, had some words that were not too complimentary about Danica Patrick. Here's his quote from the Des Moines Register. "She's a menace. It might just be me, but it's tough when you get drivers that don't stay where they should be." For more on this story, let's bring in Vince Welch.
Well, Marty, since Scott Dixon made that comment, you better believe Danica Patrick has been dogged by reporters seeking a response, especially here at the racetrack in Richmond this weekend. Through it all, Danica's response has remained consistent.
At a place like, let's say, Iowa, where these comments came up, it was very difficult to pass in general. I mean, I could barely get close to a car. I was unable to really get that far up there to start to pass people when we were under green. So it's a difficult place to pass anyway. So it's not my job to make it easy for them. It is my job to drive tough but fair, and I always do that.
I spoke with Brian Barnhart, who oversees competition for the IndyCar Series. He's black flagged many drivers over the years, including Dixon, by the way, at Indianapolis 2 years ago. But Brian Barnhart has never had Danica Patrick black flag. Barnhart says he's had no reason to. His message to Danica and all the other drivers today in the drivers' meeting: what comes around goes around. If you're difficult on the track to some other driver, you better believe that driver's going to remember it, and you will be paid back. Marty.
We're back here at the Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course under our first caution, and looking back into the field, you'll see that Danica Patrick started 20th, has moved up to the 17th position. The reason we're talking about Danica, well, yesterday in practice, it was a bit interesting. Let's take you back and show you what happened.
I happened to be watching this on the track at this time, and this was the second attempt for Danica Patrick to try and get past Milka Duno. She had caught up to her earlier, she backed off by about a quarter of a track, and then she caught back up to her again very quickly because Milka was off the pace. And now Danica tries to make another move continuously. She gets frustrated, and she does finally get inside Milka going down the back straightaway, but Milka should have moved over because she knew that Danica was much faster at this point in time, Marty.
Well, and as this ended up transpiring, we saw Danica at the end of the session, and she was a little bit upset, as you could tell. Well, we found out later, and we got some video, as she went to visit Milka in her pits. Here's what happened.
Idea what you're doing out there. You're going to be sexy. What are you doing? Go, go. If you have mirror, you can see. If you are fast, you can go. I see you. I see you. If you are fast, you can like choke. What the hell? It's not my fault that you're slow. You're giving everybody a hard time out there. I just want to talk to her about it. I've been texting 3 times this weekend now.
Find your best.
I just no, you like show. You like show. Go away of here. You like show. If you are fast, pass because you are fast. Yes? Because you can pass without problem. When you're in the corner and you turn down. Oh, do you see? All I want to know is if you see me. Please go away. Go away. Do you think that your money can pay off? You are the one here. You are the one. You know what? Brian Barnhart has you take care of it.
Okay, the reference to Brian Barnhart is the president of competition for the Indy Racing League. Give me your take.
Well, I think Danica has every reason to be upset because when you're in practice, you're not racing for a position. When you're driving the car and you don't see anybody in the mirror, then you look again and somebody's coming up onto you very quickly. He's closed up that gap. Certainly they're faster. Let them go by. She did race Danica into the turn. I don't understand that, but I question Danica's approach on it. Maybe go over there in a bit more of a user-friendly manner and maybe have a bit of a conversation because the way she arrived, it just really escalated into words.
Maybe put that off until you get back in the garage area?
Yeah, and go over with you know, a team manager or sort of, you know, send a manager over there and say, hey, we'd like to chat and talk about it. But, you know, she's very feisty, but that's why she drives a race car fast.
And one thing that you can be guaranteed of, she's going to let you know exactly how she feels. And obviously Milka was the same in this situation. So you've now seen it. You can make up your own mind as to which side you want to take. As we're going to return after this message from our ABC station.
Right behind her are her two teammates, Marco Andretti, Tony Kanaan. Tony is able to go the rest of the distance. He will make it on fuel, and they believe that Marco can make it, but only time will tell. Be interesting to see what happens with these three.
Oh,
there goes
look at
Marco.
this.
Ooh, contact between the two teammates, guys, and Danica is off course. Not a good day for AGR.
And Marco damaged his right front wing, it looked to me like. Wow, the three Andretti green cars remaining in this race were running 9th, 10th, and 11th. And there's Marco's damage, and Danica is sitting stalled on the racetrack.
And usually what happens in that situation, Bob, is that the side fence on the front wing usually cuts into the rear tire in that situation. I would not be surprised to see when we can pull out here just a little bit that her left rear tire could possibly be flat.
Let's take a look at it once again. On board with Danica.
Usually in those situations, like I mentioned, the fence usually just flattens that tire, so she's not happy.
She's not happy and wants to get going again. But the Delphi safety team does have starters that they carry with them, so she may be able to get restarted, but she's going to, of course, lose many positions and ruin what was a fairly decent, respectable race for Danica Patrick.
Yeah, and she is fortunate because that her left rear tire that you see on the right-hand side of your screen does look like it is inflated, so lucky for her.
Marco, meanwhile, has dropped back to 13th position.
He's probably told by the IRL officials to come in because he has some body work loose on the car.
And Brienne and Marco Andretti is headed toward you with some damage on the front end.
Well, his team is waiting for him to pull in. They're going to take a survey of the damage, see what they can repair, and try to get him back out on the race course. We've yet to hear Marco back on the radio, so we haven't heard his side of the story so far. And of course, there's been no communication from Danica on her radio, so we're still trying to sort it out exactly what went wrong between the two teammates. Danica Patrick is making her way down pit lane as Marco is out.
I still want to be by the transporter when all those drivers get in there tonight. I thought it was going to be interesting before. He'd be better now. And her left rear tire is flat, Bob. Look at that.
But she is rolling again and in for the pit stop.
Not sure what has brought out this caution. Second full course caution of the day. Oh, now we know why. Ed Carpenter is among those involved in the 20 car. That car looking much different from his.
That is tight for everybody to get through.
And Graham Rahal and AJ Foyt the fourth.
That's a Vision Racing team meeting going along there with Graham Rahal.
Wow. So 3 cars involved.
Look how narrow that is to get through
just
there.
missed.
Mira did a nice job. Oh, we've got everybody stopped here.
Now Danica Patrick, that looks like pretty much a track blocker there in turn 8.
And that's why we saw earlier the target car of Dario Franchitti spinning the tires and going around the outside. Now, here's the most important thing, and I think this follows through for all types of Formula Motorsports. And right now, as you can see, Danica's just waving her arms saying, what about me? Come and get me started, get me going. But when the yellow is out, Bob, you never know what's around the corner, so you need to slow down because for certain, you got got this track blockage going on, but there's safety workers out there. The Delphi safety crew is out there, and that is the most important thing that you have to think about when you're in this situation.
And they, of course, have to be aware of the oncoming cars. You can see the yellow flags waving, and in fact, the Delphi safety team pointing her to the inside.
Well, yeah, she stalled it.
Ah, there we go.
Yep.
Didn't hit anything, just stalled it. But the Delphi safety crew has to get the other cars going before they can get her restarted and moving again.
Now the starters are on board the Honda service trucks, so they'll have to come by, plug in the back, start her up, and off she goes.
Full course caution as you rejoin us here at the Honda Grand Prix of St. Petersburg. Rafael Matos has a very badly damaged race car. This is the Lusso Dragon team, and there is damage at the front and the back of that machine.
But look, here's the telltale sign. There's a tire mark on the side pod, meaning that someone hit him and put him in that position. Now, of course, that could have happened in the first turn at the start, but certainly looks like he had side-to-side contact with another car. Great to see him get out. That's a big wreck.
It is, and that is the fastest section of the track in terms of a corner. You got that fast 11, 12, you know, fifth gear flat out, and now we're at Marias. This is over in turn 4, where obviously he's had some damage. And there's
Danica Patrick.
Wow.
All kinds of stuff going on
those
here.
Those are absolute independent incidents.
Yeah.
It just so happened it all happened on that same lap, but on two totally different sections of the racetrack.
It all began when Alex Tagliani had a problem. Well, let's go back, and here's Danica with Stanton Barrett going around him cleanly.
Looking back at Rafa right there. There's Rafa looking down the inside.
Oh.
And there's that tire mark, Jan, that you just circled earlier.
There's the tire mark. But where's Danica's car? Because,
Danica took as hard a hit as anybody.
Wow.
Man.
Thank goodness for those tires.
Oh, man, that is a big wreck. There is Danica and Rafa Matos. Rafa, of course, the former Firestone Indy Lights driver, moving up to the IndyCar Series this year. They're both okay, but boy, they sure had hard hits.
They did, and I'm a big fan of Rafa. I hate to see him not finishing this race.
Let's talk to Danica Patrick.
Well, Danica Patrick has made her way down to our little pit central, and Danica, we're going to show you up here on this monitor, and it gives you a chance to see what's going on. So Rafa's in the inside.
It's not exactly the ideal spot to pass, you know. I think, you know, what are we on, lap 38 or something? We caught lap traffic I caught lap traffic into 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, the middle section, and I tried to pass him down the back straight, and he kind of came down in the kink, which is what slowed me up. And then just coming out of the corner, you know, just going down into the fast chicane there was just, there's no room. There's not room for two people there. It's just not an ideal spot to try and make something happen.
Do you think, though, that maybe the fact that on a street course like this, there isn't the extent of spotters that you have on ovals and some other closed course road courses that can contribute to some of these things?
You know, I think that it's real tough to have a spotter on a road course. Things happen really quickly, and you don't have time to sort of look in your mirrors and stuff. It's pretty much look forward. Although I was looking in my mirrors and I saw him, he just wasn't all the way up next to me, and it was a brave maneuver that did not make it.
Thanks, Danica. Let's check in with Robbie Floyd.
7 seconds is
224.655 was the second lap for Danica Patrick, a little bit slower than lap number 1.
But again, if she can maintain this pace, I think this is a really good, solid pace to make sure you're in that top 24. So when it comes to tomorrow, she can focus on race setup.
A little bit slower on lap number 3, 223.920. Danica Patrick from Roscoe, Illinois. 28 years of age. Sets the car into turn number 3. She resides in Phoenix, Arizona now. Calls Roscoe, however, the home. And here she is in turn number 4 onto the front stretch. And Danica Patrick is about to take the checkered flag. Let's see what lap number 4 is. And the tracker says 15th. It is 223.428, average 224.217, and she is 15th, P15.
Now, we've talked about managing expectations. We've said this is good for Danica. She's going to be in the top 24. But when you hear Dario Franchitti, who's sitting 3rd right now, saying, well, we're going to do some tuning and come back out again. Hang on a minute. You only have to be in the top 9 for the pole shootout. But there's a lot at stake today, and we're going to see people that we think are just managing expectations come out again. It's going to make it awesome.
Lindy is with Danica.
Danica, you had told me yesterday you weren't really too comfortable with the stability. How were you feeling out there today?
This is the worst car I've ever had. I couldn't even be flat. The GoDaddy car does not deserve to be this far down. A lot of us are struggling. We're just, cars aren't good. They're really bad.
What do you think the problem is?
I'm not an engineer, so I don't really know. I mean, all I know is that there's no stability or grip, and it's just scary, really scary.
So what are your plans now? What do you do now?
Honestly, the only thing I can imagine doing is just adding downforce and going out again, but would I actually go any quicker? I don't know. On the other hand, somehow I wish we would just be over with now. It's awful. It's awful.
Describe the feeling of being out there going that fast and you are straight up not feeling safe and comfortable.
I think I'm still shaking. It's scary.
Okay, thanks, Danica.
And that, folks, is another example of what the drivers have to go through on pole day at Indianapolis.
Welcome to Indianapolis.
Yeah.
You know, right now, I think she should shift gears. I think she's fine to be in that top 24. And if she wants more downforce in the car and shift gears, get into developing your race car. You know what? I think you're safe. Put this behind you, the trimming. Look at the face.
Yeah.
Wow. You get into such a zone at this racetrack. You forget about everything else that's going on. Right now, she's just thinking how much she was fighting that race car. But as I said, maybe the best thing to do right now is get that car into race trim, get some downforce in it, and say qualifying's behind us. If we think a 24.2 average gets you into the top 24.
And whoa! Hey, remember he said, you know, payback.
Yep. What goes around comes around.
I think that was his exact quote. Yeah.
So you mean he just scared her as much as he shocked us up here?
Great job. Just hold your line here now. Teammates looking inside. Inside. That's Sean. Looking outside. Outside. That was fucking bullshit. Hey, just forget about it. Let's try the car now. Work it out later.
Tony Kanaan is 4th in the point standings heading into this event, 92 behind the leader, Dario Franchitti. As the rest of the field comes through now, turn number 3, where the incident involving Danica Patrick and Takuma Sato took place.
As a tire going down, she will make it to pit lane. Let's see. So she goes to the inside of Sato. That is turn 1. And the incident, of course, was in turn 3. So it looks like Sato may try to get that position back. Oh, no. He just gets into the back of her.
Well, it almost looked like
he was going to go to her left, and she was kind of going to the left. It looked like they were kind of aiming for the same spot of the track. I think it took him off guard.
Looking over the Patrick car very closely to see if they have any other damage. Hopefully she can get back in competition. We don't have a full course caution. It was only a area caution. We have the use of some, there's Danica. She is back on track, but just ahead of Will Power.
Welcome back to lap 13 of the Honda Indy Toronto. And just a few laps ago, when Danica Patrick came into the pits and went to exit her pits, she gave the old thumbs up, good try to Takuma Sato, who she got in a fracas with just a moment ago. So no, it wasn't the #1 finger, but it wasn't a good job either, Bob.
Well, as Paul Tracy indicated in our pre-race show, there's probably going to be lots of hand gestures used in this race this afternoon. And we eavesdrop on Danica Patrick's radio just a few seconds ago.
I thought I was an idiot. She just didn't even hit the brakes.